Hi everyone, hope you are feeling positive and healthy. Please subscribe with all bell notifications if you haven't already, and please don't hesitate to leave your valuable feedback and advice below. Thank you very much. Let's jump into the stories. A 27 years old male was drugged, told my GF 28 years old female, I cheated, found out that I was drugged and want my GF to take me back. Link 1 in description. My now ex-GF, Sarah, is the love of my life. I love her more than anything in this world. We dated for 3 years and have been broken up for 4 months now. 4 months ago I had what I thought was a drunken one-night stand with a friend of mine, Amy. Me and said friend have known each other for 6 years, and I guess in some level I knew she had feelings for me. But I thought she respected our relationship enough to control those feelings. We hung out a good amount, sometimes alone. Sarah said she trusted me fully and didn't want to prevent me from hanging out with my friend, but she was a little uncomfortable with it. Out of respect to her, I never would see Amy past dark, and would never drink enough to affect my decision-making around her while alone. Sarah was okay with this and felt better. On a day I was supposed to hang out with Amy, me and Sarah got into a fight about a smaller subject. I thought the argument had been resolved by the time I left, but I still had residual anger and sadness from it. I went to Amy's and got maybe a little drunker than I should have. I wasn't fully drunk, but I was sloppy. I blacked out kinda, and next thing I know she's on top of me and I'm in her. I can't really remember sex with Amy more than in bits and pieces. I remember her being on top and her loudly climaxing before I finished. I'm pretty sure this hadn't been the first time she had rode me that night, because when I came to I was incredibly sore. I also was not using protection and I finished in her at least once. Once I came to, and realized I slept with Amy, I began crying and felt so sick to my stomach I threw up. When I got home I confessed to Sarah what happened and she left me. She told me that I destroyed her trust and that I am a monster. I wanted to stay with her because I don't have any feelings for Amy, but Sarah wasn't having it. For about a while after, I was so desperate for companionship, I started sleeping with Amy again. We only hooked up a few times, but it made me feel horrible, mentally and physically to sleep with her. I would often cry after it happened and at one point told Amy that I was imagining Sarah while I was with her. I guess Amy felt some guilt, because she eventually confessed to me that she had slipped ketamine in one of my drinks. I wanted so bad to hurt her for doing what she did. I wanted to call someone or just do anything to punish her, but I knew no one would buy a rape case against a 5'3" white girl from a 5'11" black male. So I focused on getting Sarah back into my life and starting to recover. I told her everything and she just didn't believe me. She told me that I went there and got drunk with her, so I probably wanted to deep down and made up this story. I wanted to die. I loved her so much, but she just won't listen to me. I need her in my life. The more I try to tell her this, the less she wants to see me and more she doubts me. Is there anything I can do to get her back? I wanted her to be the mother of my children, and the woman I see every night when I go to sleep and every morning I wake up. I'm so lost and alone without her. Amy raped you. Do you have any evidence of this? E.g. any text messages where she admits to what happened? If so, you should go to the police. I am sorry that this is happening to you, but Sarah is not going to take you back. As unfair as that might be, it is what it is. You'll have to move on and heal. I am truly sorry. Not trying to sound harsh, but let's say you have some sort of proof to show your ex that you were drugged and raped and she decides to hear you out. How do you think she'd feel once you told her that you went back to Amy and hooked up repeatedly after the breakup? We can choose to take your word for it that you regret it, but I doubt your ex would choose the same. I'm sorry man, but I don't think you'll be able to get her back. Update: I 27 years old male, was drugged, told my GF 28 years old female, I cheated, found out that I was drugged and want my GF to take me back. Original post link 2 in description. To all the people saying it's my fault, and that I was an awful boyfriend, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have so much anger and hate in your heart that you have to blame people that were victims of drugging and sexual assault for being friends with the person that assaulted them. I hope you educate yourself, but, whatever. The absolute best advice I received was to send her a letter detailing the experience and drop it off to her apartment. I did so. I apologized for everything. For staying friends with Amy, for going back to her after we broke up, and for anything I did in our relationship that hurt her. I told her that I shouldn't have ever drank with Amy knowing she had feelings for me and that I felt awful for everything I did that could have made her doubt my faithfulness to her. I dropped at her complex and they said they'd deliver it. That was 3 days ago. I received a message from her this morning saying that she doubts me. She said she knew I always wanted to F Amy, She thinks that I love her. She gave a whole rant saying how full I was and how she thought she was going to marry me, and now her heart is broken. I tried to call her and nothing. She then messaged that she thinks it'd be better for her if I never contacted her again, and that if I ever respected her or gave a single damn about her that I should never contact her again. My heart has been ripped out of my chest for the 100th time in the last 4 months. I'm so alone, and I have no chance with the love of my life. My soulmate is done with me and believes I love another woman. I'll never be able to find love like this again. I'm probably gonna end up going back to Amy, even with all she did. She will probably be the only person that'll have me. Don't go back to Amy, no matter what else you do. I'm probably gonna end up going back to Amy, even with all she did. She will probably be the only person that'll have me. There's billions of women out there and I'm willing to bet that most of them won't abuse and manipulate you to get you in their bed. If you go back to Amy, you have no one but yourself to blame for the troubles ahead. My 23 years old male, fiancé 24 years old female, cheated on me with the guy she claimed raped her. Me and my GF have dated for 5 years. 1 year into our relationship she was raped by a guy who she said was her friend. She never told anyone until last year. She said she didn't want to press charges and the guy that did it got away with it. We live 2 states from her hometown where said guy now lives, and we have only been back there once since he moved there. We never see her family anymore, and we used to for every Thanksgiving, birthday, Mother/Father's Day and Easter. In January, she mustered up the courage to go back to see her mother. I went with her and we spent most of our time together. Her dad wanted to take me and her 2 brothers to a guy's dinner. When I got back to our motel, she wasn't there. I texted her to ask where she was, and she said she having some wine with her mom and aunt and said she'd be back before long. She got back and everything seemed fine. She began acting sketchy a little bit after that, hiding her phone, computer and tablet, changed all of her passwords and took out my thumbprint. She got uncomfortable whenever the topic of infidelity was brought up, and she often would cry extremely hard whenever I did anything nice and talk about how she didn't deserve me and how I'd be so much better without her. I recommend she'd go do more therapy, but she refused, saying she was fine. Last week I had enough of her sketchy behavior. When she was in the shower I took her phone and tried to get in. I guessed a bunch of random dates that were important to her and I eventually found the right passcode. I looked through her social media and texts and found nothing until I got to her Facebook Messenger. I found 8-month-old messages from her telling her rapist she was in her hometown. He said that he is sorry for everything that happened between them, and she said she wanted to see him again. There were messages from the next morning telling her that he was sorry she couldn't spend the night. She never texted him back. She screwed him. My heart broke. I had to hold back vomit. I got into my car and just started driving. I don't know where I was going to go, but I wasn't going to stop till I got there. About 15 minutes while on the road she called and asked where I was. I told her that she was a horrible lying a-hole and I can't believe I trusted you for a freaking second before hanging up. I received multiple calls from her mom, and from some of her friends that I ignored. I eventually found myself at my coworker and best friend's house. He let me stay the night. In the morning he said that he thought I should talk to my fiancée. I called her and she in tears explained herself. Her mom posted something about us being there on Facebook, and the guy liked and reached out to her. She said she didn't want to F him, but felt like she needed to. I've heard that sometimes rape victims go back to their rapist to regain power. I'm not sure if I should forgive her or not. On one hand she might be lashing out because of trauma. On the other, she cheated on me with him the first time and called it rape, and jumped on his cock the next chance she got. I've been staying with my coworker for a while, and haven't seen her face to face. I don't know what to do. Update. I just called her dad, who has been like a father to me since when me and my fiancée were just friends in high school. He asked me what happened, and I explained to him the full situation. He also began to doubt her story. He told me that I should find out the absolute truth before I make any final decisions. He said that he really thinks I should consider hearing her out, and that if she actually was raped it might be contributing to her hookup and keeping it secret. He said he would be really upset to see me leave her and thinks that we are an amazing couple and should try to get past this. I wanted to listen to him, but I know he wants for me and his daughter not to break up. I usually trust him and take his guidance to heart, but it might be wrong. My mom told me I need to leave her now and I also trust her more than just about anyone. I'm afraid and hurt and have so many people telling me to do different things. I feel like I have nothing left in my life. She was my everything. I couldn't wait to marry her and have kids together, but that might all be gone. I feel dead on the inside. Update. 2. My best friend said he would message the alleged rapist for details about both encounters. He messaged him throughout yesterday and got a graphic recount of the events. My friend said that there were some things that shouldn't have to know. Apparently during their first encounter, he thought that it was a consensual drunken hookup, but she was reluctant. He said that she kept saying she had a boyfriend throughout most of the time he was freaking her. He said it was rough and she was clawing his back and chest. My friend said that sounded like rape. And the guy said my girl submitted and enjoyed it because he made her come. My girlfriend had a freaking orgasm from freaking him. This revived ever sexual insecurity I have. Some guy who she screwed while drunk made her freaking come. At that point I didn't want to hear more. Right, I took the day off to think and I'm sitting alone in my friend's guest room bowling. There's hunting rifle I keep in my truck, and this whole situation has been compelling me to go get it. I feel like my life is done. Don't sign that marriage contract and dip. Okay, I've been through a sexual assault, and I'm not saying everyone recovers the same, but the thought of sleeping with my rapist to get my power back makes me sick. Like physically ill just thinking about it. Reading this post. Dip out on this relationship. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.